You can't continue working from home because you go idle and chat too often. As part of the plan to return to office post-COVID, my company has done a lot of redesignating of who can permanently work from home, who can hybrid, etc. I really wanted to work from home full-time. I hate the office with a burning passion. It's distracting, it's a long commute, there's no benefit to being there, so on and so forth. I'd just rather be at home. Well, when we thought May was going to go back to office time, they started giving out the new designations. I got designated as in office full-time. It made no sense to me. I work on a team of 8 people and each of us is in a different office somewhere in the country. I've literally never been to an in-person meeting or needed to do in-person work in 3 years at this company. Every single other person on my team got designated to work from home, so I brought it up with my boss and asked to work from home. When I started at this company and lived elsewhere, I got to work from home for 4 months before I moved, and the past 14 months during COVID have been at home, so 18/36 months at the company have been WFH. What I was told is that I go idle too often in chat to trust to work from home. Basically, we have a company-wide IM system that shows you as available, idle, or in a meeting. If you don't touch your keyboard for 5 minutes, you show as idle. So, they've decided to use this as a measure for who is working and who isn't. The thing is, like many people in many types of jobs, I don't have shit to do for a full 8 hours every single day. The amount of work I have to do on a typical day takes 3 to 5 hours of actual attention. There simply isn't something to do all the time. My performance numbers actually went up working from home. By all objective KPI numbers, I'm a better worker at home. In fact, in the KPIs that I don't flat out lead the team in, I come in second. There isn't work to do that I'm neglecting or procrastinating. When something comes up, I simply do it until it's done or until I can't do any more due to waiting on someone else, then stop. And I've done that method long enough that my work queue stays empty because I work to get my queue down to the point where when something comes up I can immediately address it and be done with it. But because I have other ways to spend my time in downtime instead of messing around online at my cube pretending to be working, meaning I show idle more often, I'm a worse worker apparently. I was told if it weren't for that they would let me work at home, so I wrote a 6-line PowerShell script that virtually inputs the period key every 4 minutes that starts running every day at 8 AM and stops at 5 PM. So now I literally never go idle. I do the same amount of work and still read books, watch TV, and play video games on the side. But I have a shiny green check next to my name all day. Because of COVID complications, they eventually said no going back until after Labor Day. I just had a meeting with my boss and he said over this time they've noticed I go idle a lot less than I used to, so they're changing my designation to work from home, all because of a little icon in some software. This concludes my TED Talk on why low to middle level managers are the dumbest, most useless do-nothing positions in all of corporate America. Edit. I do not need to be told to buy a mouse jiggler for the 30th time. I'm aware of what they are. This cost me no money and achieves the same thing. Why would I pay to achieve an effect I've already achieved for free? To all the people commenting that I'm a shitty employee and obviously trying to insult me over it, I wish I could make you feel just how little I care. To all the people implying a workday isn't valid if you aren't at 100% capacity from 8 to 5, keep it up, you truly are an ideal employee. To them, enjoy the taste of leather, bootlickers. Some of y'all would be pissed as duck if I explained the concept of firefighters to you.
Now to the comments. I think reading about the fact that your company actively and objectively tracks your KPIs and metrics, but instead decided to measure your productivity by your interaction with a chat program made my brain hurt a little, like I just got punched in the face with a little fist made of pure corporate stupidity.
Right, a good manager says as long as you are getting your work done on time and accurately, I am not concerned about how you get it done. Love managers like that.
I had a manager at an hourly job that was legit like this, so much so that when I decided to go back to college and one of my classes was only provided during the middle of shift, he still didn't care if I left for 2 hours, still clocked in, came back and completed my job. God, it's nice having a manager like that, they make you want to come into work. I often hit dictate on Word and just leave a podcast playing on my speakers. I get to spend an hour chilling while Word happily types up every word the podcast says.
Until your boss asks why you keep typing about DMT and monkeys ripping faces off.
Caffeine is the program I use. It hits F13 every 2 seconds.
Same. Stay caffeinated, friend.
I saw a video of someone with an oscillating desk fan. They zip-tied the mouse wire to the fan cage and allowed the fan to pull the mouse forwards and backwards whilst they were AFK.
Similarly, I've seen people place their mouse over an analog watch, with second hand, triggering the motion.
That's brilliant. When I was working from home, I'd pull up a blank Word doc and set something heavy on the 0 key on my keyboard. Never went idle. My job, however, would put you out of compliance if you didn't do something every 30 seconds. My boss could never figure out why my adherence was better than everyone else's, lol.
30 seconds? Jesus Christ, that's absolutely absurd.
Idling would be unavoidable without cheating the system. I would just start writing novels or playing Agorio or finding a new job. Perfect execution of the process. 1. Discover what metric they are mind-numbingly using as a decision point. It's usually something convenient for them to monitor, not something indicative of true value. 2. Override, hack, or prioritize that metric until they deem you successful. 3. CYA as needed.
There's a saying about this. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's something along the lines of, a metric is only useful until your employees realize that they're being graded on that metric. Once they realize this, they'll forego actual productivity in favor of boosting that metric.
That is Goodhart's law. When a metric becomes a target, it is no longer a good metric. My old job installed some sort of tracker to measure idle time and the time we spent on each program in the computer. I'm a graphic designer and the work computer was super slow, so every time I had to render a video or save a big file, 2 to 3 times a day, I would get idle time, which they somewhat understood and expected, but then the reports came and it was ridiculous. Like 7 out of 8 hours I would be idle, but I was still turning in everything. I expressed to my boss that maybe it was a glitch. I was the only Mac computer on the whole company and the IT team didn't know how to even copy-paste on a Mac. He didn't care and kept nagging me about it. Next review they revealed that the tracker kept track of what websites we visited and it showed that I had visited job hunting websites, and also, that the tracker only recognized when I opened/closed/switched to or away from Adobe software, and all my activity on it went as idle. That's why my idle time was so high. Somehow, they ignored both things and kept harassing me for the idle time. I was even denied a bonus because of this. They were still surprised when I quit a couple of months after.
Glad you're out of there. That's psychotic and super unethical of them.
Yeah, it was insane. At the same time they decided to announce the bonus, which was supposed to be secret, but they decided someone had talked about theirs and decided to tell everyone. I got really sick, to the point I had to take couple of days off for prep labs and a colonoscopy among other exams. They told me about the bonus a week later with a very angering, "If you had worked harder and earned your bonus you would feel better." The bonus was around $150 if you put it in US dollars. Ours doesn't kick in if we have a PowerPoint slideshow running, so, you can just start a slideshow, minimize it and get on with work at your own pace.
It will show you as presenting all day long. Might not matter for some, but some people's bosses might eventually be curious about to whom and why you are presenting PowerPoint for 8 to 10 hours a day.
Just have a work-related PowerPoint with reference info on it. Yeah, I keep it open for quick reference. No one's gonna put 2 and 2 together, though they may ask you to not do that if they intend to use that metric.